Hey y'all, how you doing? We've got a special guest in the house. She's a very good friend of mine, and what I like about our friendship is that we always talk about God.
Yes, we do.
Ah, I love that. I love that. But let her tell you all about her. Here she is.
Sanibonani, uMbaliyezo wakaThibela. Ngiyabonga uku-invite-wa eshowini kaMiss Duze. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, you welcome. You welcome. And why did you say yes to the show? And what did you think when I was like, do you want to come to the show and talk about God?
Wow.
Because we always talk about God.
Wow, I was like, okay. Miss Duze, her mind is very busy. But this is okay, it's okay, go right, it's fine, and I prayed about it. And I
Yeah.
asked myself questions with what is it that she wants to talk about? And I was like, okay, fine. In life kuyenzeka ukuthi my experience can be somebody's experience, my way of surviving it can be a wake up call to somebody also
Yeah.
ogoa through something ongakazazi ukuthi kahle kahle kufanele ayenze njani.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that's why I agreed ukuthi you know what, umuntu omusha noNkulunkulu kusho kaMiss Duze,
Yeah.
let me be there.
And there are just so many youth, and there are so many, even not even a youth, but someone who's younger that just are confused about this journey with God. They want God, they're not sure of God, did God exist, and all that. Did you ever have those questions?
Yeah, I can say I still do sometimes, especially when things don't go my way.
Mm-hmm.
I do that ukuthi like really uNkulunkulu ukhona,
Mm.
like kamampela sikhuleka la umuntu esingamboni.
Yeah.
Bese ngisheshe ngiyikhumbuza ukuthi washo yena ukuthi uzohamba and uzobuya, kodwa ngeke asabuya ngokwenyama, uzobuya ngomoya.
Spirit, yes.
Yabo. So ngaphinde futhi ngaba nalento ukuthi okay fine, ushilo in spirit ukuthi uzoba khona, uyingilosi yethu, ungumholi wethu, uyi-navigator yethu. So even though I used to have questions, but I stopped questioning that because ngimbonile uNkulunkulu weyami impilo.
Yeah.
So I stopped questioning ukuthi does God exist because ngimbonile weyami impilo.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And have you ever felt like disconnected from God?
I have, hey?
Mm.
I have, esikhathini esiningi I have felt that. Looking at my journey, eyempilo, looking at the race that I'm running,
Yeah.
there were times whereby I felt ukuthi uNkulunkulu akekho, uNkulunkulu ungilahlile, nje ngaluza that connection nje kuNkulunkulu ukuthi you know what, I just even felt ukuthi I don't see the reason why I'm praying because izinto azenzeki. You know thina, especially us youth, when it comes to izinto esizithandazelayo, we pray because we want them tomorrow, we pray because we want them like now, ukuthi mangiceda ukuthandaza kufanele ikhole ingene nje ukuthi uthole umsebenzi.
Yeah.
So when I talk about my journey ngikhulumelani ukuthi mangithi uNkulunkulu ngimbonile kweyami impilo,
yeah,
I used to be that person ukuthi when I pray over something iyangenzakalela. I used to pray ukuthi okay fine, uNkulunkulu wami, yabona kulo msebenzi engisebenza kuwo mina sengikhathele, angisafuni, ngithi ngiphumile ngizohlala i-2 months ngiyitshele futhi ukuthi after this 2 months ngoJanuary ngoJanuary nje ngizobe sengitholile umsebenzi and kwenzeke kanjalo. So makwenzeka kanjalo ngiyithole ngimkhohlwe futhi angiboni, anginakile ukuthi ngimkhohlwe uNkulunkulu, but I'll find myself ngimkhohlwe uNkulunkulu, yabo.
yeah,
Ngiqhubeke nje ngempilo kube mnandi kube njeya until a U-turn happened, you know. Kwayenzeka lokho kwenzekele, kwalahleka yonke into, kwaba nzima nje, and I had no choice but to go back home. And hey, going back home, it reminded me ukuthi this is the person that you need to reconnect with. This is the person that you owe an apology, ujule nje kuye, and umfune, you know, umfune empilweni yakho ngakho konke. And that's what I did. That's what I did, because really my past 5 years, 6 years, it wasn't nice. It had so much of tears. I lost izinto, you know, yeah, into eziningi nje ezenzakalayo empilweni, ukuluza abantu bathandayo, ukuluza umsebenzi. And the most painful part was when I lost myself, when I could literally feel that I've lost myself, when I would sit in front of the mirror and ask myself, what happened, Kumbali? What happened, Kumbali? You know, so all that, yeah, made me feel ukuthi uNkulunkulu doesn't exist, uNkulunkulu akangithandi, uNkulunkulu akekho, because of all those things.
Yeah, and I find that, you know, in life, I feel that as I was saying, I was telling you, I was listening to Brown Les, and Brown Les will say, you know, in life it's important to be alone, because when you're alone with God, not only be alone with God, God will help you find who you are.
Yes, yes.
Because most of the time I feel that we do not know who we are.
Yeah.
You know, you can know what's okay. My name is Mbalezwe. I have this career, you know, and that's it. And you know your surname and all that, but you just do not know who you are,
Yes,
because you
that's
have
true.
never been alone to
That's
just
true.
figure it out.
Yeah. Kuye kwangifikela lokho. That came to me. If I could just quote a bit from Pastor Amne, as ngisho, I used to work. I used to be in a relationship, and that relationship, in my eyes, it was perfect. I felt ukuthi this is my stop sign, like
Yeah.
ngiphelele lana, yabo. Kanti uNkulunkulu had something yena in mind. So kuyafika this part whereby uNkulunkulu uba jealous ngawe. He wants to work ngawe, but when you are so focused kwizinto zala emhlabeni, you are so focused kubantu abasempilweni yakho,
Yeah.
whereas yena ufuna ukuba nawe, ufuna ukuba busy nawe. So wangihluthula ke mina uNkulunkulu kulo ndawo bengikuyo, wangihluthula kabuhlungu, bekubuhlungu, bekunzima.
Yeah.
And I found myself ngiyi-one. I found myself ngiyi-one. I found myself not having friends. I found myself not having umsebenzi, you know.
Yeah.
And during that time, I started seeing izinto ukuthi, oh, okay, all right, this is what was happening. Oh, okay. Then mang discover izinto, I'm discovering those things ngiyi-one. And the only thing that eyafika engqondweni yami was for me to start praying. From 2017, 25, 28 December, ngaba ngiyi-one. I was in this pit. And ngikulo mgodi loyo obuhlungu ukuthi I was suffocating. I just couldn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
I was crying. I was asking myself questions ukuthi what went wrong? What was I not doing right? I cried, and at that time mengikhala, I was looking down. I was looking through the walls and everything. Until one day when I cried, I looked up. And ngithe mangibheka phezulu ngakhuleka. Instead of asking myself those questions, I started praying ukuthi uNkulunkulu wami, kukho konke, if kunala ngikuphosisele khona, ngicela ukuthi ungixolele. Right now at this present moment, angisafune nix kodwa to have a relationship with you. Ngikulambele uNkulunkulu wami, ngiyakufuna. I'm thirsty for you. Can you just be? Can you show yourself empilweni yami? Ngicela ungibambe ngesandla, angisafuni ukuzihambela, ngikhathele. Ngicela ungibambe ngesandla, uhambe nami kule journey le, so that ngizokwazi ukuthi kahle kahle la emhlabeni ipurpose yami yini.
Yeah.
And when I was done praying, I realized, wow, okay, fine. I just had the best conversation of my life. As confused as I was growing up, or during that period of time, impilo yami, as confused, and that moment bengazibona confused, bengibona kahle ukuthi I have it, bona I have it. Ngibaphethe, we understand. So so when this whole thing happened, kwangikhumbuza ukuthi angilutho. In as much as I can feel that I'm somebody, but emehlweni kaNkulunkulu I'm nothing until he says, yena, you are something. So yeah, my resolutions for 2018 was that reconnecting with God, because there were
Yeah.
times, Miss Duze, whereby I felt ukuthi I disconnected with God so bad to a point whereby I couldn't pray. I would kneel down ngithi ngiyathandaza, and during the prayer I'll feel bored. Ngifeel ukuthi uthandazelani kuyafana, this thing is not going to happen, and bese ngiyasukuma. I would kneel down ngithi ngiyathandaza, and while praying I'll start thinking of what my ex did to me. Bese ngiyasukuma angisakhuleki, until I started understanding that the more you want to connect with God is the more you attract the devil himself. Uzofuna disconnecta kule nto leyo. So before you can say you want to connect with God, be strong enough, be emotionally, physically and mentally strong ukuthi uzokwazi ukumelana nezimo ozohlangabezana nazo while you are having that journey ukuthi uwakhe ubuwena noNkulunkulu. So going back to inkulumo yakho yokuthi finding, knowing who I am. I didn't know who I was. I knew what my partner was. I knew what my partner must have and wanted. Bengazi ukuthi ipartner yami fanele ngijabulise kanjani, but I didn't know how to be happy mina. I didn't know myself. I knew ukuthi umlungu wami fanele abe happy, but I wasn't happy mina. And I wasn't aware of that until I found myself ngiyi-one, until I found myself ngingena nomuntu engakhuluma naye, you know, even when you try speaking to your friends, they will screenshot and go back to your ex and show them ukuthi bona,
Look what she said.
look what she said, like dude, yayibona le nto
Look
le.
what she said.
So ngasho ngathi, you know what, I just don't belong. I just don't belong ezweni. The only person engibelonga kuyo uNkulunkulu. And how do I connect to uNkulunkulu? I ask myself that. How do I connect to uNkulunkulu? How can I do that? That's when I decided to no, you must make a choice. Any choice was ozoyithatha, you must live by it. I decided ukuthi yazi ngiyohlala ngisingile. Angisafune imjolo. Angifune anything ezongihlanganisa nento ezongidistracta. I want me. I want ukuthola ukuthi mina ngubani. I wanted to find uMbali Yezwe. I wanted to know where Cleopatra is, you know, and I started looking for them. I started looking for myself ukuthi okay fine Cleo, phuma uyofuna uMbali. Waphuma ngazifuna ngazibuza ukuthi okay fine mengizozalwa ngo-19 bani ngeza emhlabeni, inhloso kaNkulunkulu ngami nempilo yami bekuyini, what was my purpose, ngizalelweni mina. And I couldn't find that because I was still in the land of the living. I was still busy out there. Makufanele ngabe ngenza lento ekufanele ngabe ngiyayenza. And I started shifting my focus to uNkulunkulu. I started shifting my energy to uNkulunkulu. I went back to church. Ngafika nje kwaba mnandi ngazizwa nami ukuthi okay fine, yeah, I'm back, I'm where I belong, because it's so important to know where you belong. And I could feel ukuthi this is where I belong, this is where my peace of mind is at, this is where my happiness is at, because every time mangizoya enkonzweni I'll come back ngijabulile. Monday to Saturday bona i-stress singenzani ziyabuya, I'm not happy, those uninvited thoughts will come back. I would cry, I would ask uNkulunkulu ukuthi hawu uNkulunkulu wami, just because I prayed mos ngasho ngathi I'm ready, I've moved on, you know, I'm accepting ukuthi it's over, why do these thoughts keep on coming back? And a small voice said, you need to face your past before you can face your future. I didn't have a choice ukuthi ngibuyele ku-past and revisit that past for me to have a concrete foundation for my future. And I did that. It wasn't a nice past, abekungekho mnandi, but yonke into siyazi ukuthi iqala ngobumnandi iphele ngobuhlungu, isuke ebuhlungwini iye ebumnandini. So that's what I did nami, ukuthi ngi-allow a process of healing take its place and allow God to deal with me. And that's what I did. That's what I'm still doing even now. And it's something that I'm wishing ukuthi ladies of my age can realize that there's nothing so important as having uNkulunkulu
In
as
your
your
life.
husband before your husband, because you are not you are not umuntu ka-boyfriend wakho. We use the term umuntu wami. No, akusumuntu wakho, umuntu kaNkulunkulu before yours.
That's true.
So instead we can
That's
if
true.
we can understand that part ukuthi lo muntu akuso wakho kaNkulunkulu,
Yeah.
angakushiya noma kunini kodwa uNkulunkulu ngeke akushiye.
Yeah.
During that relationship, God is with you. During that trials and tribulation, God is with you. During those happy moments, God is there. He's not gonna leave you. But those people that are there, they can leave you. Ngento encane ngathi ujikelwa ama-in-laws, what kungayenzakalani ngabangani, kungayenzakalani ngepartner yakho. Yeah, understand. So ngafunda lokho.
Well, even your own family,
Yes.
you don't have to take it to the in-law.
Yeah, understand.
Yeah.
Even your family iyakujikela, but uNkulunkulu
They do.
akakujikeli. Sibaningi abajikelwa ama-families ethu,
Yeah.
esizithola singena amakhaya, esizithola siqashile, just because ifamily yakho ayi-acknowledge or ayifuni ukuku-understanda. Because any mistake engiyinotisayo, we tend to tolerate people instead of accepting them. And uNkulunkulu thina yasi-accept akasitolerate ngoba kube beke sitolerate hawu Nkosi yami, kube kukuningi nje okwenzakele kithi okubuhlungu. Uya-understand.
Yeah.
So uNkulunkulu has accepted us with our flaws. Question is, have we accepted ourselves, or we expecting people to accept us?
That's deep. That's true. That's so much true. Yeah. And it's important to strip yourself off and say, Lord, I know I have done this and this and this,
Yes.
because sometimes we just want God to assume,
Yes.
even if He knows, but for us to give Him that platform and say,
Yes.
Lord, I have done this and I
Yes.
need you, because we have to. And I think it's that where we must accept that God is our everything.
Yes.
If you know God is your everything,
then everything will be okay ngawe futhi, and you have that clear mind. Because yabona, I love what you just said by saying uNkulunkulu uyazi ngathi, but ufuna thina futhi nathi si accept lo part leyo, because in as much as angazi ukuthi I am uMbaliyezwe, izolo ngenze 1 2 3, namhlanje ngenza 1 2 3, he still needs me to come back to him and tell him ukuthi uNkulunkulu wami, this is what I did, and I'm sorry about it, you know. So yeah, no, the journey of finding God, it's so not easy. Intaba enyukayo, le ntaba ayikho lula. On a serious note, it's not easy, and ama-challenges maningi when you're walking with uNkulunkulu. Maningi ama-challenges esihlangabezana nawo when you try to walk with uNkulunkulu. Ziningi izimo ezizokusukumela when you try to walk with uNkulunkulu. Siphila emhlabeni ukuthi we are in a jungle, kunabantu aba-ready to attack you just for choosing to be you. There will be those people bokuthi ba-ready ukuthi bangaku-attack,
Yeah.
But if you know what you stand for, when you know what you believe in, when you know where your focus is, labo bantu labo, they won't do anything. I remember this other time Besise Nkonzweni was visiting Isondo. There was a time for a word of encouragement.
Yeah.
There was this gentleman that said, uma umuntu zifundise ukufana nalo mama uthengisa ama-veg or ama-fruits. That lady uhamba athwele ibhavu phezulu.
Yeah.
That lady, every time when the dog barks, she doesn't turn around ayodlula kwesinye istrada. No, udismissa lo nja leyo andlula ye phambili. So ngayithatha ngokuthi what he's saying is those veggies and those dogs, i-veggie focus yami, le nja le yi-distraction empilweni yami, le nja le abantu abahlebayo abayenzani, uliyeza uzenza ongcono, ucabanga ukuthi hey uhlala esontweni, as long as unalo focus yalento ofuna ukuyenza, what they are saying on the side kuyofana nje nabantu nenja ezikhonkothelayo wena uyidlulele.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay attention. You don't have to waste your time ume and entertain lento eyenzakalayo. You understand?
Yeah.
And during that futhi, through God, I've learned it's okay not to explain yourself to people. Either way, they will judge you.
It's okay.
Let them take you the way bafuna ukuthatha ngakhona. Let them assume the way bafuna uku-assume ngakhona. We're living in a democratic country whereby we are allowed to do anything esifuna ukuyenza. Then
That's
who
true.
am I, mina, ekufanele kungabi nento e-negative ezokhulunywa kumina?
Yeah.
Who am I? I mean, kwahluleka kuNkulunkulu. God himself, he was betrayed
Judge.
and judged. He was mocked. Bamthuka bayenzani. Who am I, mina, engitrya ukuhamba ey'nyaweni zikaNkulunkulu engeke
But
ngize
you
ngibhekane
understand.
nalezo zinto lezo?
That's so true. Yeah, that's so true. Oh, y'all, that is so true. We are gonna continue with part 2 of the show. So
Yes.
stay tuned